only one that's alive in that corporation. I don't care if it's Bank of America. I don't care what corporation company. If the court system, everybody has indentured trustee. That's the one you go after because that's the only one that can speak for the corporation or the company.
Oh, y'all over here telling. Okay.
We trying to do a little something with Dr.
Come on, Bob. Clear your apron on.
That's why I'm trying to go into in depth.
Nah, I mean, he kept y'all been going, but he kept Skip kept mentioning something. So the other word I'll use for the Cessna QV, so people understand, is two different expressions: mortgage-backed securities, which is really you, and estate. Literally, when you make another business, that's what most of y'all are doing. Well, y'all don't understand what estate gift taxes are. Mm-hmm. That's basically what you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Come on, fly. You gotta get the apron on, bro. Go ahead and cook for the people for a little bit.
Nah, man, y'all covering it. I think because you got people in here who at level 1, they like, man, where do I start? So if you don't know that's your property and you don't know how to claim property, then you might want to start there. I don't want to direct everything, but there's levels to this. So you get to one step first, then go to the next step. But you got to understand who you are.
I could tell them if they really want to know where to start is correcting your status, making sure you're going to e-verify, updating your status to non-citizen national, and locking your social security number so none of these corporations and stuff like that are trading on these private markets, on these private ledgers, can be able to trade your Social Security trust. If you want to start, you can start there. You know what I'm saying? Authenticating your birth certificate on the state and federal level. Doing the do not detain list stuff. You know what I'm saying? Doing the do not detain list with your passport, stuff like that. Correcting your status first before you can even try, because now they try to change the rules with the Treasury Department, the IRS, in 2024 in order to get into your Social Security trust, like we have. You have to authenticate your birth certificate on state and federal level and correct your status. So they really trying to, because a lot of people getting into their Social Security trust right now.
Excuse me, Skip. All right, if y'all are following me, any one of these gentlemen up here, man, you can't miss. You can't miss. It depends on what you want to do. Just like I said, you can't miss. Any one of these 5 gentlemen, you can't miss. All right, go ahead, bro. I just want to say that.
No, we appreciate it.
Y'all gotta tap the screen, man, and share the live, because y'all got people out here charging $5,000 and $10,000 for nothing, and you got everybody on here. We sitting here cooking in the kitchen for y'all. Y'all getting free plates right now.
Man,
can y'all show us
way more likes than this, brother.
Yeah, you got 80-some people in here. Only got
8,000 likes.
All they gotta do is tap.
Y'all hit that screen, fam. Hit that screen. Hit that screen for me, at least for 2 minutes. Double tap, y'all. Y'all follow me. Hit that. Double tap that screen.
Yeah, we gotta get people
Somebody said any success with the W4 sounds. Yup. I've had over 45 people in my class that did W4 sandwiches that became millionaires just off of the W4 sandwich by auditing the companies. They changed the process. They added 2 forms to the W4, so a lot of people are doing it the old way, because I know Felicia Beverly, she's I talk to her all the time. But a lot of people were following her method from YouTube and stuff like that, Felicia Beverly, but they updated and they changed it. So it's 2 forms. I don't want to, say forms and all that stuff like that on here, because I don't want to get your TikTok, blocked. But yeah, they just know that they updated that process with the W4 process.
And y'all I was going to elaborate on that too. Y'all got to understand, man, just like in high school, y'all know when we have to do papers in high school and the teacher used to, scan them papers in the computer to see if it's plagiarism. They got to understand, they got to change it sometimes to see people who know, know to know. So that's why y'all got to do y'all studying, understand accounting. That part is very important. So even if stuff do changes, you know what you're supposed to be doing. You're your own banker. You're a private banker, so you got to understand what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They should have documents share on here where we can share documents and stuff, because I like to show like your followers, negotiable instrument, how it looks and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, but you know how TikTok is.
I know. That's why I said I wish they did.
TikTok ain't.
Listen, man. Hey, listen, man. I done got blocked about 4 or 5 times on my life, so I know. So I know what to say, what not to say.
I'm glad that they're letting us run though, because I'm saying I ain't had no flags. Everybody rocking with us. I'm surprised only 86
you ain't got no haters. You ain't got no haters. You ain't got no haters. That's why you ain't got no followers. That's haters. That's why.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that, because before, man, I was getting suspended for 2 weeks. Last time was 3, so I'm gonna let it rock out today.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all not really speaking on certain people yet, well, certain organizations. But I was cooking though.
But man, this is a lot of information out here, y'all. Y'all just have to really do your due diligence and take your time. Like before you execute a step, you got to map out what you're doing. If you're trying to get compensated back for that mortgage contract or the auto loan contract, you got to attack the contract. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is with that administrative process and have it documented. Because once you bind that corporation, like Skip was saying, that district trustee, once you read it, 7 times out of 10, the district trustee may still be listed as the CFO because he's the treasury. So if you bind him and say that, hey, you haven't been operating your securities the correct way, and you have it documented sent on behalf of a notary because a notary does acknowledgments. That's a hint for y'all. It's a gem for y'all.
Yeah.
Notary doing an acknowledgement that you sent them a demand to do what they're supposed to do. They have a fiduciary obligation to, I ain't gonna go too far in that, but handle your business. And if they don't do that, then you can start binding his ass into that courtroom. And they're gonna settle out of court every time. Why? Because the cost to get it right is way cheaper than the price to get it wrong.
Right. But I have no idea why people don't use notaries more often anyway, because people don't know that a notary is nothing but a judge. It speaks for the Secretary of State. It has more power and a higher standing than a judge in a courtroom. I never understood that. But I want go ahead.
Skip, guess what? I'm a notary, bro.
Hey, guess what? Me too.
Why you think notaries got to be bonded?
Exactly, because I operate in the private and in the public. Because I know how to, go back and forth.
Facts. Some notaries don't understand their power though, but if you got a notary that understands the private side, that's your motherfucking best friend. Because why? When it's time to go in that courtroom, these corporations play dirty. You would send them a notice and they'll say, "Oh, I got the envelope, but it was empty." But that notary be like, "No, it wasn't empty. I got an affidavit of mailing that states I sent you this, and that." And the judge is gonna look at the person like, "I'm telling you."
Right, and bring that notary to court with you. And you can bring that notary to court with you and write up a document right then and there and have that notary, the jury, because a jury is nothing but a witness. You know what I'm saying? So a notary is really nothing but a judge that witnesses. So you could bring that notary to court with you and fill out those documents right in front of them and have them stamp them and give them to them. And that's a contract right then and there. Oh, hold on. And look, so funny about a notary today is, peep this, like now, do you know? Well, it's always been like that, but a lot of people are starting to understand it because, like, who said that it was a notary?
That's me, fam. I'm a notary.
Yeah, so you can marry people too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that lets you know that lets you know right then and there that you're a judge. If you can marry somebody in commerce,
and everything that you acknowledge is admissible in court. So again, you go in unrebutted affidavits and shoot in commerce. What's going on, Big Chris? Yeah, y'all gotta tap in with these notaries, bro. A notary who knows what they doing, because a lot of notaries don't know this process. But if you got you a notary that's cold, you get your remedy. I'm telling you, quick.
Yeah, because that's one of the reasons why you want to authenticate your birth certificate so you could do the undead. Listen, that's the reason why a lot of people are getting marriage certificate, don't even understand that they're not even married. And why do you think that when you die, they give you a death certificate? Because they want to keep making sure that you contract with them even when you're dead, so they can keep going into your Social Security trust. Once you stop letting these people go into your Social Security trust, you not only that you will have wealth, but stop allowing these corporations, these dead corps, to go into our Social Security trust, the whole banking system is going to collapse because they're not able to use us anymore.
And that's fact. And that's why I've been trying to get people to. Yeah, I like with the. Yeah, I guess you can say we got difference. I want people to get away from the social. It's beneficial and it's not. The reason why I kind of get people to get away from the social because you have more privacy. Mm-hmm. They have ownership over that. I agree with you, but you want to get away from your social, but you still want to be able to have ownership of your Social Security trust because that's where all your money is collected. I agree. Yeah. Still want to. I'll say that you control it, but I would say you basically take your straw man. People don't like to say straw man. You take your straw man and throw him in a closet so they can't use him without your permission. And you ain't using his ass no more because you got your business jumping. So, for example, with the credit, even though credit is fake, you work, you know what I'm saying, finesse your credit to where it's like an 800 or 750, and you start operating under a business, even if you have to PG. They see that you have a 750, they're going to give you the 50,000. And if you understand how to manage your money the proper way, this is just for folks who want to get it out the mud. Like there's other ways, right, like EINs, educational purposes only, with EINs and stuff, and CPNs, educational purposes only. But like getting out the mud, like something real quick, I'm trying to tell y'all, is that's how you're going to get it done.
I mean, but see, once they get more advanced, because you got to understand, anytime you borrowing your own money from your Social Security trust, even if it's your personal, your business, then you still paying it back. So that's why I'm trying to get people to understand that they got a Social Security trust, start reading up on it. I don't want to go into in depth about it, but just start reading up on your Social Security trust. Just reading, about your trust. Just read it. If y'all don't even know, just go look at Social Security trust. Go to Google. Start reading up on it. Because the more and more you start educating yourself and it start becoming fun, you start getting away from old ways. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So somebody, one of your followers, if my driver's license is revoked. First of all, by law, you don't even need a driver's license because you are a flesh and blood live individual man. You don't have to under the Fourth Amendment, you don't have to answer any questions anyway. So long as you know that you are a driver in an automobile and that you are a flesh and blood man, you don't have to contract with them at whatever. And then if they do try to arrest you, take you to jail, you want them to, because now you can go to the court, fully all their offers of oath, right? Then you can go ahead and submit it into your case. And then now you got them for perjury. You know what I'm saying? And then you go after their bid bond and stuff like that. But you got to understand that you do not have to abide by anything.
Are you breaking up, Skip?
Yeah, there's different ways to skin the cat, and these gentlemen, they over here giving y'all some sauce. Another way to skin the cat, you could copyright your godlike image, which is your fingerprint. Nobody has the same fingerprint. Guess what happens when you got a copyright? Guess what happens when you got a copyright or a patent on your godlike image? They can't process you. So there's different ways to skin a cat.
Hey, and you got a fee schedule. Go ahead, original. Go ahead.
Let me jump off the top rope real quick. Man, Jeff Hardy real quick. Hey, he said you copyright your thumbprint, right? And y'all, I keep seeing people talking about they playing ball. So the court is where you play ball at, right? So if you have a copyright on your own name and somebody use your name and you ain't tell them they could use your name, they gotta pay you for that.
It's copyright infringement.
And you know it also comes with a sole proprietor. So you got a personal business for real. If you know you got science. You know what I'm saying?
Facts, all facts.
And if you wanna build a business quick, just go get you a show court. Go get you a show court that got an 80 payday score. You know what I'm saying? And go
okay, Skip. Skip in here on the pots and pans, man.
Man, I've done a lot of shit in my life, man. I'm just a lot of stuff, made a lot of money, and I had to figure out a lot of stuff myself. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I know, everything that I do is because I like to read and I'm self-taught. You know what I'm saying? I wish I had a mentor when I was younger, teaching me a whole bunch of things, but I had to be my own mentor. So.
That's fact. I ain't gonna cap. Because when I first got into this movement, my thing was like, it's so many. I started a shit. Who all I listened to? I listened to Taza Doc in the beginning, and then after a while, I was like, man, he just like you gotta keep paying for shit. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna start reading. And then I ran into Yusuf, and that got me hungry even more because I see how you talk to people on his lives. And it's like when you confident, when you understand this information, the only way you're gonna be confident is reading the book. So I started reading everything: American jurisprudence, contract law, accounting books, business books, all that shit. And then once you start getting diverse in this information, it's a wrap. They gonna see. Study and show yourself approved, y'all. That's what y'all gotta do. Because once they see that you know what you're talking about, they're not gonna fuck with you. Promise you.
Knowledge is power, and power is control.
Just facts. So you go into the courtroom, and you again think about the charges. Oh, do you understand the charges are being brought against you? Do you know what charges look like? Exactly. Facts. But that's what. How many people go into that? How many people go into that courtroom and say, "Do you understand the charge being brought against you?" They say yes.
And 99.9%.
Facts.
Yeah,
So y'all be
like,
getting on us saying, "Oh, this process don't work," but you bomb the whole thing as soon as you walk in there. Can you state your name for the record? Are you a resident residing in the state? You guys say yes. Do you understand the charge being brought against you? Yes, and it's over with. Like, how you gonna? Like, come on, man.
Because they speak in legalese. And you don't know legalese because you don't study legalese, so you don't understand it. So you go in there, yes, and then they got you scared. You manipulate it. So of course you're gonna go in there, yes. But once you understand that all they're trying to do is contract you with your certificate trust, and then you're going in there as a certificate trust. You're not even going there saying, I represent the principle that you seek. You're not even going there saying, I represent the trust. But you go in there as a trust. And that's the reason why they write those bonds, because they write those bonds. The district attorney is writing those bonds against you. You got to understand this, that when you go in there as the trust and they ask you, state your name for the record, they're pretty much saying to give your name. So you're giving away your personal property, your real property away without compensation. You're not even after compensation, but you're giving it away. So once you give it away, right?
Go deeper, Skip.
So once
go deeper, because go deeper. I'm gonna pause you real quick.
So once you go in there, so once you get arrested, and they already violated your right to due process, because when they arrest you, they're supposed to take you straight to the magistrate, which is the judge, but they don't. They take you to jail. So they already violated your right to due process. People don't even go to court and say, hey man, they violated my right to due process. Then when you in court, you giving away the trust, you acting as a trust, giving away the trust. But what people don't understand is when you give it away, right, without compensation, or you giving your personal property, your real property away, you giving it to the judge. Right? And then the judge is making you supposed to be the beneficiary. The judge is saying, okay, thank you. I'll be the beneficiary because you're supposed to be the beneficiary. You gave them the trust. So now they become the beneficiary. They make you the trust. And guess what? And then the beneficiary is the one who assigns you. As the beneficiary, you're the first trustee to who assigns your second trustee. So now what the judge does, the judge assigns the second trustee. Now it's the district attorney. Now what does the district attorney do? Now the district attorney goes and he writes those bonds against the trust. Who's the trust now? You are. So you're liable for the trust. So now they can jail you for those bonds that now sit in jail until those bonds mature. So they say, you got to understand, look, you got a 30-year mortgage. They go into your Social Security trust up to 30 years. That's why you got a 30-year mortgage. A mortgage is a mort, which is a mortuary. It's a damn ass contract. You got to understand, when you get a credit card, everything you do, they go into your Social Security trust for 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Look at the sentence, 30 years to life. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at that stuff. So the district attorney is writing those bonds against you, and then they're housing you in a warehouse, which they call is a jail or a prison. You are a commodity. So they're housing you. So that's the reason why when I was talking about earlier about the SF 2425, option of 90, option 91 and stuff like that, bid bond, performance bond, and payment bond, and all that stuff like that. If people found that stuff and claim that they are a living man or a living woman, they could walk out right now. All they have to do is release those bonds, pay the debt off. Like,
even better than that. What is it? Habeas? I think habeas corpus.
Habeas corpus. Yeah. But a lot of people don't know how to fill out a habeas corpus, so that's the reason why they never go through.
Facts. I agree with you on that. That's facts. Don't know how to fill out the paperwork.
Yeah. Everybody in there right now is housed in jail right now because of bonds. That's the reason why, because they're acting in commerce. They release those bonds, they all walk out right then and there.
But guess what's even funny though? How many times do you scroll on TikTok and you be seeing these inmates in jail on their phones?
A whole bunch of them don't even know that they sitting there voluntarily. Because you voluntarily pay taxes. Everything you're doing, you're consenting.
Facts.
You're consenting.
You consent. If you don't rebut anything in court, you consent to the terms and conditions of what's going on. And a lot of the times, 9 times out of 10, you guys agree.
You sitting there, and when you go to court, you sitting there. You go in there voluntarily because you guys summon. And then they say, "Oh, we're gonna put out a warrant for your arrest or whatever like that." Okay, so they're summoning you. Okay, a warrant is they're trying to go to war with you. That's why people understand they have to know the difference between the Admiralty and Maritime Law flag, and know that people don't even know that there's a peace flag. There's an United States of America peace flag that they can ride around in their car. If you can't go to war with somebody that's at peace. You can't. You want to go to war with somebody that's at war, and everybody is saying, "Oh, we're at war," so that's one of the reasons why they slam you, take you to jail, do all that stuff to you, and then you don't even know your rights. You don't even know that you're a flesh and blood live individual, man or woman. You keep acting as a trust, so they treat you as a trust. Because corporations only can deal with corporations. Flesh and blood people only can deal with flesh and blood. The living can't talk to the dead like the dead can't talk to the living. So that's one of the reasons when you go to court, you're dealing with police officers, you have to act as a living man at all times. But people keep acting as the trust when they say, "Oh, sign your signature." You sign in your signature. You're not signing your benefit in your autograph. You're not contesting anything. You're not saying, "I'm a living man." So what you think they're going to do? They know that they can operate with you because you're acting as a trust. You're acting as a deceased.
Hey, go ahead now. Hey, and then, hey, Joe, you still on? You still on, bro? Joe? Because I'm working with him on this thing. Hey, what you sent me today, man, and I was reading your thing. What Skip was saying is factual. Because you know how in your motion to dismiss it says, "Now comes the state of Texas buy-in through her attorney."
Uh-huh.
You know, right then and there, you can get the attorney for this. What is it called? Hold on. So the attorney is representing the state of Texas as an alias, right? So basically, they're acting under a colorable authority because the state of Texas can't go into the courtroom, but they don't expect you to peep that game when you're in that courtroom. So, like with this, what you can get her is deprivation of rights because she was operating under her alias to represent the state of Texas. Texas is a fiction; they can't go into the courtroom, family. So they're bringing claims on behalf of the state of Texas through the attorney. But again, with contracting and clients, the state of Texas can't sign a contract with the prosecutor that grants her the authority to represent the state of Texas. So does the state of Texas have legal standing? Is the state of Texas a real resident? Ain't no resident living in.
Correct.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Correct.
it's a domino effect.
Yeah, because I will say this: when the Most High gives you something, and He gives you wisdom, knowledge, or something, stand 10 toes down. Because that's what I did. I didn't know anything about administrative process or anything like that. But when I found my own paperwork, I got this shit dismissed by myself. I stood 10 toes down on what he gave me, and I stood on it, and I wrote it out by the writ habeas corpus, bringing the body, and then I hit him with a fucking breaking chain of custody because that's what they did. And I had him, man. I was going to take it all the way to trial, and they finally dismissed my shit because I didn't give up.
Talk that talk now. Talk that talk. For everybody on the live, you got to understand that he just told you. You got to stand firm in your square. You got to stand in your square with this shit. Because if they see you scared and you ain't comfortable, they're going to try to railroad you. And if you read the judge's bench handbook, they're not able to give you any legal advice. They're not going to help you. And they're not going to go down the rabbit hole with you. And they're not going to help you alert the public. Because 9 times out of 10, when you guys go into the courtroom, you have other people in that room with you. But you might get the judge and peep game, put you in the closet.
One thing that I did add on to that I read about was the expressing the trust. I did put some of that in there. That's private shit, but I went ahead and put it in my paperwork because I said I want to see accounts payable and accounts receivables. I threw some more shit in there, and then I threw the Magna Carta in there, and I loaded up my shit. It was a 16-page shit that I turned in, and they didn't fuck with it. They dismissed my shit.
Facts.
I heard that, Joey. Hey, Joey, can I ask you something? Did you ever go in there and ask a judge or the district attorney if they have a license to practice law?
I never stepped in the courtroom.
Oh, okay. I thought. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, once they arraigned me, that was it. I kept myself out of that courtroom until I got locked up for 6 months.
Because court is handled through paperwork.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying to y'all. Court is paperwork.
Yep, that's all it is paperwork. That's the reason why. Yep. But that's why people have to understand legalese and have to understand that the district attorney, the judge is nothing but a dressed up lawyer. You know what I'm saying? And they all only have a membership to practice law. They don't have a license to practice law. That's the reason why it's illegal.
Talk that talk now.
It's illegal, and then what people don't understand is that everybody that's under the 14th Amendment, those 27 constitutional laws, right, are British and Roman employees because admiralty and maritime law is Roman law, right? And that's the reason why all the lawyers and judges and stuff like that, they have a bar card because who they have a bar card through the British Register Association, right? So they're practicing law on our land illegally. police officer, 1950 Army Act, I was trying to say earlier, 1950 Army Act, including the sheriffs, under the 1950 Army Act, Britain is the one who developed the 1950 Army Act. Do you understand that every police department in America, right, in the United States is all owned by Britain, right? And they're all conducting business and practicing law illegally on our land. That's what everybody has to understand. All judges, all courtrooms, all whatever, it's all Britain. You're trying to say that you're a British citizen and a Roman citizen. They're not saying, the people think that I'm a United States of America citizen. No, you're not. No, you're a British citizen, a Roman citizen, because you are a 14th Amendment citizen. Just like when you go and you file taxes. You filing tax. You telling them, hey, please have jurisdiction over me. Filing taxes, but also registering to vote. Registering to vote, you're telling them, hey, please have place. All of that stuff you're saying have jurisdiction over. You're giving them consent to slave you.
Yes, sir. Because guess what? Through the documentation, through your signature, that registration card, and police officers too, and attorneys. For everybody on the live, if you go to martindale.com and you type in your judge or your the prosecutor, whoever it is in that case, you're gonna pull up their ISLN number, and that stands for the International ISLN, International Standard Lawyers Number. Mm-hmm. So how do you have an international lawyers number and you're operating on American soil? That right there tells you that
illegally.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Illegally, so they're all here illegally. Who told them? First of all, I would like to ask them who gave you land. Who gave you? Who said you could put your land here? Corporations can't own land. So if a courthouse,
hold on, Skip.
Go ahead.
Hey, did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch that? Didn't go over y'all's head. Go ahead, Skip. Yeah, that was a genius.
Lawyers number, legally operating in commerce. I'm telling y'all, if you go to martindale.com, some attorneys, some lawyers will have them, some judges will have them, but you might have a good judge that doesn't have one. But if they have an ISLN number, they're educational purposes only. It's my opinion that they are operating under.
They are. That's why they all have to have a bond. They have to be bonded. Because in common, because they have to be bonded for the simple fact that if they operate in commerce, right, they lose all immunity as a government official. So if they charging you with debt, putting bonds on you, telling you got to pay this, police officers trying to give you traffic tickets and all this stuff like that, they lost the privilege to be a government official. Now they become a private what? Contractor. They're all private contractors. Working through a corporation, a private corporation.
Hey, go ahead, Skate. And then when you start going after, so with a police officer, right, their name is in all caps. So this is another gym too. You got to go after them in their personal capacity because they're doing. Police officer, if you go after him in his personal capacity and he's operating for the state, and you ban him through default and you get him to acquiesce, you fuck around and hit his bond. So when you go after their bond, you have a valid claim because you have a notice of default. You have documentation that he acquiesced and he acted outside of his capacity. And guess what that bond companies do? Fidelity or Travelers, whoever his bond is with, they're going to pay you out. But guess what they're going to do in turn? They're going to go to the police officer and be like, hey, I need this $30,000 back.
Mm-hmm. Because people don't understand that their rights being violated anyway under the color of law. They got to go read the color of law. Anything that they do, if they slam you on the ground, give you a traffic ticket, take you to jail, harm you any kind of way, touch your private property, anything. They violate the color of law. People don't understand what can happen to a police officer, any type of government official acting in commerce under the color of law. They could be tried, hung, killed, all of that stuff. They don't understand. Everything that they do to you is illegal. They're acting illegally. People have to understand. Go look it up. If you guys, I don't know. I just want your followers to go and look up color of law. Read that stuff.
Yeah, I had it up earlier. I had the county sheriff's handbook up, and it goes over what's colorable law. The definitions is right in front of you. So look up what the definition of a person is. Everybody hears that term. Oh, I have a person operating a motor vehicle. You're not an operator either. You're not a driver.
Exactly. And then if you post it for your followers or whatever like that, go post the 12 presumptions, 12 presumption laws. That's gonna shock y'all right there. And then go read the J Treaty, and go to you can read the whole J Treaty, but go to Article 14 where it talks about traveling and vessels and ports and stuff like that. You're free to travel and go wherever you would like. As a live individual, as a 14th Amendment citizen, you're not, because where you can't go. Giving them that right, because you keep filing taxes, keep getting driver's license, keep getting plates on your car. You keep letting them understand. You keep giving them jurisdiction over you.
Facts.
Hey, you know what comes with that business? Okay, so there's a little thing called address, right? So when somebody address you, they want to do business with you.
Correct.
So, my person doesn't have an address. Not my person. If you personally asking me, I don't really give my business side. Now, it's for entertainment purpose only. However, my person ain't got no address. Ain't nobody addressing me. Okay? So let's know the difference between where you reside, address, and docile.
Come on now, original.
Correct. That's what I'm talking about, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Correct.
Get your apron on, man. Go ahead and cook.
Yep, correct. That's why a lot of people got to understand putting them brackets whenever you sending out mail or anything like that. Make sure you put those brackets around that zip code, because people don't understand the United States of America is not a government. It's only the 13th.
You gotta break down that bracket, bro, because some people skip over that part. Go ahead and break down the bracket.
I'm about to. So people don't understand that the 13 square miles of the District of Columbia is in Washington D.C., right? So that is the United States of America. It's not the countries. It's not the country and the states that you live in. The states that you live in are their own independent countries, right? That's why it's called United States, because they all independently came together to create the United States, which are all separate countries. But people every time somebody write a letter or they get a letter or whatever, there's no brackets. So they're saying that America with this District of Columbia. They're saying that you live in District of Columbia. You don't live in California, or you don't live in New Mexico, or you don't live in Ohio. They're saying that you live in District of Columbia. So every time that you write any kind of letter, you're sending anything out, not only to write your beneficiary signature on there, right? But make sure that you always put that zip code in brackets to let them know that I don't reside in the District of Columbia. I reside here in California, or I reside in Ohio or Wisconsin, or wherever you are. You got to understand that stuff, because they're addressing you as you are part of the District of Columbia. So they have jurisdiction over you. Anytime somebody send you mail, when you send your mail back, or you update your terms and conditions, or you sending contracts and everything like that, make sure you have those brackets around that zip code to let them know that you don't reside in District of Columbia as a flesh and blood live individual, man or woman.
Hey, I'm going a little deck too, the brackets. So as far as like manuals and stuff like that, when you put them brackets, everything on that contract that's within them brackets is basically becomes invisible. So they're not even going to address that bracket. So it basically excludes that bracket. So when you put the bracket to put the zip code inside, everything else is going to be acknowledged besides that zip code, because that zip code is what grants them jurisdiction. Like I was saying earlier, they don't foreclose against the actual home. They foreclose against the address because they have ownership over the address because they created it.
Mm-hmm. And then, and another thing is, even when they foreclose, they're not even foreclosing on their house; they foreclosing on that land. So that's one of the reasons why you need to go do a land patent, because when you do a land patent, and if you do have a mortgage, if you do have, whatever on that land, if you do a land patent, you own the property, right? Below however, to the heavens and down to, hell, wherever, right? So you own that land. So even if you own a mortgage, you got a land patent, because corporations can't own land. So if you put a land patent, even if you got a mortgage right now, put a land patent on your land, and then and guess what? You will never be foreclosed on. They can never sell because you own the land. You can always tell that bank, move my land. And guess what happens? Banks don't like to lose money, so banks will never come and pay anybody to come tear down, any type of house.
So what I'm hearing is, in essence, all of us is living and breathing. And of course, we know what you do at a court. Mm-hmm. And a mortgage, we know what you do at the morgue, right? So only the living, breathing flesh and blood can control a business or anything that comes with it. So you got to know when you a business and when you. When you got a POA and when you just a fiduciary or a beneficiary.
Come on, original. Talk that talk, man. Get your apron on, baby.
Yeah, because, one day I might, want to wake up and, I might want to go well or something. The next day I might wake up and then I might have to audit somebody or send a summons because obviously they thought they could address me, so I know I can address them. Because I got a POA. I got the power of attorney over my business. So you going to address me first off legally, you is incorrect. And now you got to stand on that in court. Because whatever you sent me, I'm not even reading it. I'm getting it notarized. I'll open the second one. And when we get there, you gotta respond to this. Because you wrote this. And somebody got to pay my dog for what you wrote. Because I work for him. That's his name.
Right.
I'm just the POA. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to represent him on his behalf. Because, I'm just original. He the being. You see what I'm saying? So you got to know, you know what? I got y'all. So back in the day, slow your roll, mind your business, and pump your brakes. Don't be quick to interact on nothing. Just slow your roll. Then think about it. Is this your business? Are you going to respond as a flesh and blood person, or is we doing business right now?
Facts.
And then, before you let that out, pump your brakes. Make sure you got the right code in your head. UCC 1-308, all rights reserved. So look, if I signed this, I already told you that I'm not trying to pay you nothing. And so you gonna force me to sign my name, or you gonna Shanghai me to what you call a jail. As soon as they say, yeah, you gotta sign it, bam, you got him on tape. He said he gonna extort you. That's what he said.
Yeah. Facts.
Hey, it's not about it's about who he asserts. It's about what you can prove. A lot of these people are working off of assumptions because they don't think you can prove basically lift the veil on the fraud. That's what happens with foreclosures. You go into foreclosures and it's like, okay, we're going to foreclose against you, and the only evidence they produce is the invoice saying that you haven't paid this in a couple months. But the invoice isn't a valid invoice. It doesn't show the true accounting. That's what y'all gotta attack. Y'all gotta bind these people. And on top of that, these mortgage companies have an attorney represent them on their behalf. But that attorney never says under the penalty of perjury there's a lawfully debt owed. They're working off of assumptions. And if y'all look at Trinzi versus Pagliaro, an attorney can only be counsel, but he can't be both. He can't be a counsel and a witness. So again, stop letting these people testify in court. Make sure if an attorney goes in that courtroom and starts talking, you get him to get sworn in so that you can subject him to cross-examination. Because if he's going, he can't, even this goes with evidence too. If he's submitting evidence into the court case or anything like that, it's hearsay evidence because who you representing? The client? The client is the fictitious entity. So this is probable cause affidavit. You have to have an affidavit from somebody saying that they've been defrauded, because the mortgage company is saying that they've been defrauded because you defaulted on your mortgage contract. But that's not true because ain't no signatures. You gotta understand that, baby. Ain't no signatures. You're the only one first-hand knowledge.
But see, they can't say that they can't say that it's a debt owed anyway because they know that they already used a promissory note and went into your Social Security trust and already recouped that money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Agree with that.
So they some thieves. And then we got to understand what people need to do is to learn terminology and stuff like that and learn these definitions. Go get a Black Law Dictionary. You can go get the 3rd, 4th, or 5th edition, 7th edition, whatever like that. Because people don't understand that the definition of attorney is a thief and a liar in the Black Law Dictionary. And that's
Come on now. And you got to catch them in a lie. So guess what this? So with attorneys, they have conduct in their books. So it's against their conduct for them to be what do they call it? It's against their it's attorney rule. Misconduct prohibits them from engaging in conduct that's dishonest, fraud, deceitful, or misrepresentation. So you gotta understand contracts. You can't, an attorney, a public defender cannot go in the courtroom and represent you without you having a contract that gives them authorization to do so. And you do that through a retainer or whatever formality.
Your consent.
Exactly. So with these corporations and these fictitious entities, what contracts do they have with that public defender or that prosecutor that gives them the authorization to represent them on their behalf? This is where you got to poke holes in their processes, y'all. It's a kangaroo court. And once you expose the fraud naturally in the correct way, I'm telling y'all, the judge
Yeah, because you know what? They try to give me a court-appointed attorney. They were trying to give me a court-appointed attorney. I said, hell no, I don't want one. And they still gave me one. I kept firing them. I said, I don't want one. I don't need one. Quit giving me a fucking attorney. You know, they kept trying. I said, no, I don't want one. They were trying to force one on me, but I didn't let them.
Yup, because all you gotta do is let the judge know and let the district attorney know. Are you trying to contract with me? Are you trying to contract with me on the legal lease? I do not accept your contract. Once you let them know I'm not accepting your contract, I'm not abiding by any contract. I'm not signing any contract. Nothing. The whole court case is dismissed right after that anyway.
So whatever knowledge y'all gain, stand 10 toes down on what y'all have and apply it. Don't be afraid to step on it. You know, stand 10 toes down. You know, apply what you know and stand on it. If he gave it to you, stand on it.
No, that's what you have to do. But they know that they can manipulate people and scare people. So people go in there, And then let me tell you something. Like one of y'all brothers was talking about earlier when I first got on, talking about manipulating. That's the reason why you had the picture and stuff like that about mind manipulation and going to the movies and stuff like that. Why do you think that they have so many police shows? SVU, NCIS, whatever. Because they training people. They training people to how to interact with the police and how to interact. And then you got to understand, sometimes I watch those shows and I sit there and I say, damn, they done broke about 50 in one scene. They done broke 50 laws. But you don't know that they broke 50 laws because you watching it. Ooh, this is a good show. As soon as you go to court, as soon as the police officer pull you over, they asking you for driver's license, registration, insurance. You saying here. You're not even knowing, hey, I don't answer I don't answer no questions. I don't have to provide you because I'm a traveler in an automobile. I'm not a driver in a vehicle. It's so many different things, but they train us to do what they want. They train us.
Yeah, so they watch them on TV.
Another good show to watch too is my bad, Joe. Let me finish this pretty good. But another good show y'all probably slept on and didn't watch is Suits. Suits is a good fucking show, and it's on Netflix right now. If you watch Suits, you see a lot of times everything is based on affidavits. An unrebutted affidavit staying truth in commerce. When you guys look at your case dockets, there is no affidavits. It's all hearsay. The attorney don't sign. It's a bulletin letter. There's no real signatures on there, so no one's bringing claim. No one has a valid claim against you. And this is what you guys got to understand. Everything is based on debt. Who's bringing a claim against you in that courtroom? Ask the judge, hey, judge, are you bringing a claim against me? Ask the attorney, hey, are you bringing a claim against me? And if there's a valid claim, it needs to be assessed. That claim needs to be assessed. And they're not going to take ownership of that claim. That's what I'm telling y'all. If you back up an attorney into the corner and tell him to sign that under the penalty of perjury, he's not going to do it. I don't care who you in front of. They're not going to do it because they won't be held liable. Because if they sign the affidavit, I guarantee you, if you have a fee schedule, you won't have to work ever again. I'm telling you.
You know what I did learn, bit, bro? So I had to update my fee schedule because I learned something about the equity and liquidations. It's all, and then some. This also pertains to the patents too. It's always good to have tangibles like silver and gold. It's always good to get real silver and gold because they got it. You can go to the bank, you can get a little silver bar, you can get, $50 a gram of gold. You can get that. You can go obtain that. Get appraisal on it. Make sure you can it's always gonna be valued. So I always have a different type of value. You feel me? That's all I wanted to say about the fee schedule. I just updated mine with the silver and gold on it.
Oh yeah.
You got Pyramid cards and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you I've been in both of y'all classes, and I've been in applied classes too.
Oh yeah, man, you and everybody kitchen in. Yeah, I feel you. Ain't nothing wrong with it, bro. Like I said, I tell everybody, man, fact check me, but I guarantee you can't show me where I'm wrong at because I get the information from the same people who pin us down to the ground. And I've been in the courtroom. I've seen judges look at me and I ain't fucking with them. And it'd be it from there. Can y'all hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Some people I said they can't hear anything now. Hey, Layman, can you hear us?
Yeah, you good.
All right, cool. Yeah, y'all go ahead. We can cook it, man. What questions y'all got? Like I said, the movement ain't hard. Y'all just got to understand the basics and understand that everything in front of you ain't what it seems, and the devil puts stuff in plain sight for you to trick you up. Like I said, he get all of our kids at an early age. When you start understanding the Monopoly game, that's a real life game that we're playing today. And with the Monopoly game, the bankers needed a way to start implementing their processes at an early age. This is where they came up with schools. So like with women, right? So with the Women's Act and all that was a ploy. They didn't really care about y'all having women rights. What they wanted was for both parents to be out of the household so you couldn't nurture your children. You couldn't pour into your kids like you're supposed to. And they wanted the school system to start educating your kids. This is why I homeschool. And this is very important. I mean, y'all think about what a noun means. A person. They teach that at an early age. You go into the classroom, I remember like it was yesterday. A noun is a person, place, a thing. A noun is a person, place, a thing. And you start getting to the assumption that you're a person. It just makes common sense. You're a person. But they don't want to tell you the full definition of it. And when you start understanding that person is listed in all their statutes, codes, acts, and regulations, and it doesn't apply to you, you would start seeing that what God was talking about is true and factual. He tells you that my yoke is light.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? My yoke is... It ain't made like that.
Because a person is a corporation anyway. If you look at Black Law Dictionary,
it's not just in black laws; it's in their statutes. If you look at Texas, Florida, it tells you a limited liability company. You ain't no limited liability company,
right?
Hey,
And all that. But look, and the funny thing is that, and when what Roosevelt said, what he say? He said, "I want a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers." And people don't understand. Look at the education. They don't want to teach you how to balance a credit checkbook or how to get into your Social Security trust and how to. They want you to go to school to learn their curriculum. Why? Because they're doing nothing but setting you up for prison. The school system mimics the prison system, just like the churches mimic the courts. You know what I'm saying? When you go to court, when you go to church, what your pastor got on a roll, the judge got on a roll. They tell you right there.
Go on now.
Look. When you come, listen. When you in elementary, junior high, you lining up. What the teacher say? Line up. All the kids line up. You going to chow, you going to lunch, or you going to recess. In prison, what do? They open up the gates. They all line up. They all walk to chow. They all walk to the rec yard, whatever. Look how they mimic each other. They setting it up. People don't even know.
Hey, Skip. Hey, you lift up that school bus, family. That school bus is a prison bus.
Yeah,
come on now, y'all.
And like people don't even understand that churches are 503(c)s, nonprofit organizations. So every church in America,
on now.
Every church in America is a corporation.
Hey,
people don't understand that.
They get you by separating church and state. So I'm not saying that all pastors, again, it's educational, but with churches, they're nonprofits. So think about all the tithes that you give to these. Come on now, all the tithes.
And where they got to put that money at?
Come on now.
In the banks.
Come on now.
Son, that's the reason why. And who started the first bank? Who started the first bank? The Vatican. Who started the first church? The Vatican. Come on, it's an all banking system. That's what people don't understand. When they had all those bankers, the Rothschilds and all that, when they was on Jekyll Island, and they was conjure up how they was gonna steal all the money from people. Look at when you're paying taxes. You paying taxes voluntarily. It ain't even going to no roads, paying Congress, nothing.
Hey, I'm glad you brought that shit up. And what get me hot too, right? Think about all the technology. We're in the ages of technology, right? We got all this AI. They can show in a neighborhood which trap house is jumping, but y'all can't find these kids that are missing. Think about we know it's a problem, right? But all these playgrounds, all these people getting abducted, and y'all can't find these people, but y'all know Ray been selling that work for how long now?
Hold on. How you gonna go find? Why you want to find something when you the one that's doing it?
Come on now. They don't want to.
They the ones who abducting them.
And my Amber Alert goes off Every damn day. You tell me we got technology to run these tags to find out who's doing what, but y'all can't find these women and children that have been missing for how long now? And that shit get me boiling because y'all want these digital IDs, these facial recognitions, but you can't find these kids that go missing at the bus stops. You can't find these kids that go missing at the playgrounds, and you know who's doing it. Like I'm saying, I ain't forgot about Epstein Island. Y'all vote for all these politicians. These are the same people that got your kids. These are the same people that know that there's underground tunnels under us, bruh. Come on, man.
That's why I didn't want to release that list of Epstein, because they know it's going to be a whole bunch of politicians, a whole bunch of government officials, and all that stuff like that on that island. It's so funny because I never knew where it was, and I got a couple of friends that are from Virgin Islands, so I had a chance to go to Virgin Islands like 4 times, right? But all the 4 times we never went to St. Croix, whatever it is. When I was like, man, they go to a house right there. What you call it? It's right there on the cliff, on the edge of the water, in the middle of the ocean, from St. Thomas to St. Croix. I said, damn. I said, this is what they was doing in that. I'm talking about the island big,
Oh, yeah,
and I said, this is what they was doing in that. I said, they probably got underground bunkers and all kinds of. I said, man,
yeah.
And, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And it's right in front of our nose, bro. Right in front of our nose. Y'all know this is why, like, for all my melanated people out here, y'all know the phones that we hold, the computers got melanin in it, right? So y'all wondering why we go missing, why we be found with no organs or stuff inside of our bodies?
Yeah, because an ounce of melanin, worth what, like 17,000?
It's worth more than gold.
It's worth more than gold.
And guess what?
Gold is at $2,000 right now.
Hey, Skip, tell me this right now, right? We know exactly what's going on with these Federal Reserve notes. They need a replacement. And guess we are missing at an alarming rate right now, especially fucking women. Melanated women are missing. Come on now. Y'all don't want to have this conversation. Y'all worried about Alabama stuff. We're going and missing at an alarming rate on a day-to-day basis, y'all. And we ain't paying attention to that. They're following y'all for a reason. We know what's going on. If we know women are being abducted at Walmart, why don't we have more security cameras out? Y'all got drones flying around doing nothing. There should be no reason why people are missing.
Because people don't understand that they are a mineral. You know what I'm saying? Just like gold, silver, diamonds, whatever, palladium. People are a mineral. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they coming up missing because they using us for technology. Cloning. That's why they doing all this cloning stuff and doing everything. Man, there's so much stuff going on that we have no idea that we can probably not even fathom to even try to understand. Come on now, yeah.
Hey.
And if y'all got donor on your driver's license, again, this is just the case. If I don't on your driver's license, right now, if you get into a situation where they got to save you or not, and I'm speaking that from experience, my cousin was not able to be saved because he had that donor stuff on his license. They're not going to try.
They ain't going to save you.
They're not.
And hold on, and peep this. And half of the time, when you're getting into all that stuff, it's them rigging your cars, doing everything because you a match for somebody that's important.
Come on now.
That's why they love that donor crap on there. And even when you put donor on there, you saying a donor. You signing driver's license that give them jurisdiction. You saying you're a donor. So guess what they doing? Taking all your organs out. Taking everything. It's going over here to this doctor or going to this politician and going to this president, going to wherever.
If you want to get that off your stuff, what you need to do is go back to the DMV and submit a new application. And I mean that. And for all y'all on here,
no, they don't.
You can get a passport card.
They need to go to the DMV and rescind that driver's license. You don't need it. You're a traveler in an automobile. Why do you need a driver's license to travel? Get a passport. Why you need plates on your cars?
We gotta be careful because some people ain't confident in that yet. So
you want a slow walker? Go ahead.
Hey, that is true. If you're confident in this process, I recommend you getting a passport book, both. I recommend getting both because if you lose one, you got a backup. But that's true and factual. Y'all gotta start exercising your rights because if you don't know your rights, you don't have them anyway.
Mm-hmm. Like people don't even know. You can go get your passport where you have access to over 182 countries. And that means that you are per se a citizen of 182 countries.
Yeah, make sure y'all are sure in this process because they will yank your ass out the car and take your ass. I'm telling you from experience.
Yeah.
You said what? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, they will take you. I said, make sure y'all, if they, you in this process, you know what you're doing. We'll pull you back and text you.
And guess what? The first thing you do is turn your camera on and record them. Because guess what? If they do that means they violate your rights under the color of law. And guess what you can do? You have no idea what you can do if they violate it on the color of law. You know what the color of law is?
Yep.
And the reason why, I'm glad you brought that up, man. Y'all do have to make sure y'all recording because your camera's easier to get than theirs. They might try to hold their camera, they can edit it, but your stuff is factual. So if you ever happen to go into a courtroom and need that camera, you don't have to go and subpoena their body cam. You already have everything for yourself, and it's already documented. Like I said, you're the attorney in fact. You gotta start holding yourself accountable for your own stuff.
Facts. You record on them. Don't answer no questions. Trust me. I done cussed out about 14, 15 of them. And guess what they do? Tuck their tail and they get to running back to their cars because they know. Because I know what I'm doing. And they get when I get to hitting them with subsection of penal codes and all that stuff like that, and letting them know that I'm a flesh and blood man, that I'm of the living. Man, they get to running away. They you know what? I had one tell me. This was probably like about 3 months ago. He pulled me over. I went off on him. Right. Told him how I was gonna, take us off of the oath, submit in the case, and do all that stuff like that. And then, I ended up telling him, I was gonna go after the surety bond and everything like that. Told him how I was gonna do it. Told him exactly everything. I recorded part of it, right? He said, "Oh, you one of those?" I said, "Yeah, I'm one of those." So get your, I didn't want to say what else because I cussed him out. You know what I'm saying? But he tucked his tail because he knew. He said, "Oh no, he know what he doing. He know what he talking about." He said, "No, I can't deal with you."
In fact, and again, it's just with questioning, right? So whoever controls the question wins the war. And the reason I say that, because if you get pulled over, driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, that's what they're going to say. And then you ask them, hey, what's the nature and cause of the stop? And they say, oh, it's just a tail light, or you fail to say stop sign. They commit a crime, traffic infraction. If you're recording, you got them right there. It's just a traffic infraction. Traffic infraction.
Because it ain't no crime. Because you know why?
Exactly.
Because you don't want to know why? 27 CFR 72.11. All crimes are commercial.
Come on now.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a crime. Crime doesn't exist on a universal and common law, on a God law. Those are the only laws that exist, right? Opinion law in court does not matter. See, and that's one of the reasons why if you ain't never seen them open up a Bible in court. Why? Because they can't use common law and universal law. None of them can. So that's the reason why crime does not exist, because under Admiralty Maritime Law, what people are conducting themselves under, right? There's no such thing as a crime. That's the reason why, because all crimes are commercial, because this is a banking system. This is a trust banking system. That's all it is. And people don't understand that anything you can do, I don't care if it's the M word, you know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're stealing, I don't care what you're doing. There's no such thing as a crime. It doesn't exist. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, then go look at 27 CFR 72.11, and it'll show you all crimes are commercial. No such thing as committing a crime, ever. And they know
James said, what about being stopped in a state that requires inspection? So again, you got to understand statutes, acts, acts, statutes, codes, and regulations do not apply to you. They only apply to corporations. So if they're telling you based off of this state statute will have to be able to inspect your vehicle, that statute is only for limited liability companies, only for corporations, only for entities and trust. If you're not a walking, living trust, you're a walking, living spirit. You reside within your body. You understand that God gave life into your body. And this is y'all got to be careful with people who's telling you some of these processes, just like Jesus was telling us in the Bible. Beware of the Pharisees. You got some people putting out bad information to get you hemmed up. 27 CFR 27.11. It tells you that all crimes are commercial. It goes over traffic. Even a Pum case. In a Pum case, it's saying that Pum violates it's an international maritime contract that you sign with the state. If they don't have an international maritime contract, that presumption is false. And that gives you the authorization to be able to motion to have that case dismissed, because that means they don't have legal standing in that courtroom. But I hope that don't go over your head.
Facts. You gotta cook on them, boy. Gotta cook on them. Yeah. The more and more that we know, the more and more we read, the more and more we are obtaining and stuff like that. And you got to use this stuff in your daily life. Everything that you read, you gotta abide by it. Like Joe said, you got to stand 10 toes down in the stuff, because if you don't, and you don't know anything, and you just going through life just la 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 la, they're gonna be able to do anything and manipulate you and tell you and make you do anything that they want. So I'm glad that there's a whole bunch of brothers out here and sisters, you know what I'm saying, kings and queens and gods and goddesses that understand that we're not going to allow them to be, we're not going to allow them to push over us and make us be pushovers and make us do what they want us to do. And they know it. They know it. That's the reason why they try to change certain laws. Look at Chicago. Look at California. Do you know in Chicago and California, they already reversed a whole bunch of laws with robbery and, and a whole bunch of crimes supposedly, right? They reversed them. There's no such thing as a crime out there now.
Right, because it's time to get out the world and get into the spirit, man. Let the spirit guide you in all things.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the spirit that's going to give you all wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That what it is that you're seeking, it'll come through the spirit. So stand 10 toes down what he gives you.
Exactly, Joe. You know why, Joe? Because everybody that's walking around here thinks that the body has a spirit. It's the other way around. The spirit has a body.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why your Sesame trust never dies. That's one of the reasons why your Sesame trust never dies because your spirit never dies. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of people conducting their life don't understand, and even they never die. They never die. When you leave the earth, you're gonna go wherever they at or go to different dimensions and whatever. It don't never die. The spirit never dies.
Because one thing I learned, when I did this, is I knew my hands were clean.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do things in honor and clean hands, then what you're doing, putting forth, is going to come to fruition, right? He's going to come down. He's going to help you because he says, "I want to respect you."
Talk that talk now. Go ahead and cook, Joe. And that's facts.
Go ahead, Joe.
So that's I stood 10 toes down. What he gave me, and the wisdom and knowledge he gave, he came from him. So I stood 10 toes down, and I'll say this: when I was in jail, the attorney that came to me talking shit because I filed my own paperwork, cussing me out. So I hung up the phone, went back to my cell, picked up my Bible, meditated before I opened it. I opened up went to Psalms 109 and meditated on that. If y'all know Psalms 109, go read it. This goes against your enemies. So 2 weeks later, that attorney that they tried to give me passed away. So if you go read Psalms 109, so I know then that the Most High was working with me. And 2 weeks later, it's when my case got dismissed. And
that's congrats that you got enough knowledge to know that they can't imprison you. You can imprison the body, but you can't imprison the mind.
Right. And, they tried everything to break me, but I don't know.
Hey, Big Show, you had something to say, bro? I see you came off mute.
Oh, nah. Y'all good.
Hey, if you want to hop in the kitchen to get to touching these pots, bro. Hey.
I'm just sitting back eating. I'm good.
Come on, man. Go cook us a little side dish or something.
No, just stand 10 toes down. Who gives y'all, fam? Just stand 10 toes down. Don't ever back off of that. Because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Remember that.
Over the earth. And he gave us dominion over the earth to make us the trustees. And once we become the trustees, we're supposed to watch out for our heirs, which is our children, our kids, and everything like that. He never gave dominion over the earth to a corporation or a company. That's what all these individuals are acting as. And they think that we just literally don't know anything. That's why people need to turn off these damn TVs and stop watching TVs or movies or whatever it is. Start picking up a book. Because like they say, if you don't want nobody to know nothing, just put it in a book.
Hey, Skip. Hey, people don't watch all the episodes of Power, all the episodes of Grey's Anatomy, but they don't understand what the definition of a person is. And that would get me, bro.
Right.
They didn't watch all these episodes. Hey, fact.
But here's another thing, though. They watching these shows and missing the gems that them shows are dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
All them shows that they watch, it be gems in every last one of them.
Yeah.
On everything I love. Everything I love. That's why I say, if y'all haven't seen Suits on Netflix, go watch Suits, and you start seeing and they go over Alpha David versus Alpha David. And what happens is when you have your Alpha Davids in place, verifying that everything that you're stating is true and factual, and that prosecutor doesn't have anything stating that's true and factual, is truth versus hearsay. The judges, being unbiased party, he's going to rule in favor of the person who's entering in with good faith and clean hands. So if you're showing you have good faith and clean hands because you went to your brother, let him know that they wronged you, and you have a default notice showing that, hey, they didn't respond back to me, which is them wronging you, the judge ain't got no, and that's equity. The judge is going to have no point but to rule in your favor. But y'all got to make sure you have understanding of that, because you got to be able to articulate that in court.
And then also,
What does the Bible say?
and then they also need to understand that an affidavit is a contract too. That's what it is. When you present them with an affidavit, you're contracting with them, letting them know, hey, this is my contract. Do you abide by it? Like if you send a company or corporation, they sign it, they know they about to commit perjury or fraud.
They can't sign it.
Yeah, because they know they about to. So right. So once you send it to them and they don't reply, then that means that they accepted your terms and conditions. You use an affidavit on anybody, boy.
Hey, what were you saying, Joe? Can't hear you.
Like the scripture says, that plead with your oppressor on your way to court, lest he hand you over to the police, and the police take you to jail, and you won't get out until you pay every last cent.
Exactly.
Until you pay the last cent.
Go ahead.
What you say, Joe? I couldn't hear you. You went in and out on my end.
I'm going to paraphrase the scripture that says, plead with your oppressor while on your way to court, lest he hand you over to the officer, and the officer start cast you into prison, and you won't get out until you pay every last cent.
Right. That's when I was talking about the bid bond, performance bond, and all that stuff like that, because they already violated your right to due process anyway when they arrested you and they take you straight to the magistrate anyway. But you were never supposed to be arrested in the first place as a live individual. But if you go into jail as a trust, of course they're gonna take you to jail as a trust, because that's who you're saying you are. That's why they ask you for your name. And then when they take you, everything is about those bid bonds, performance bonds, and about your trust and stuff like that. But you got to let them know that you're a flesh and blood living man at all times. You got to conduct yourself as that. People are not. People are conducting themselves as the trust.
You have to know your standing, who you are, your mode of operation, your modus operandi. Who are you?
Correct.
Hey, and you got to go in that courtroom and appropriate persona, because again, they'll get you into that pro se shit. You got to make sure you're not pro se. You got to go in there and appropriate persona.
But listen.
Yeah, yes, sir.
But you wouldn't even listen. You don't even make it to the courtroom if you understand what you're saying and you understand the color of law and you understand that you're a flesh and blood man. The police not even going to arrest you anyway to even take you to jail. And then if they even understand that they violated your right to due process. So a lot of people need to go read up on their right to due process, right? Because they're going to take you to jail. They're not going to take you to see no magistrate, because people don't even say, okay, well, you're violating my right to due process. Since you're arresting me, take me to go see the magistrate. Take me to see the judge. They're not.
And the habeas corpus, y'all got to. The habeas corpus is going to force them to validate that they're holding you on verifiable pretenses. But I would want to say too, as far as with that court thing, I wouldn't say not going to court, because you still want to go in there with clean hands. But again, court's handled through paperwork. So if you get a summons, you can send them something conditionally, like a conditional acceptance. Like, I conditionally accept your offer if you can provide me with proof of claim that there's an injured party, and your failure to provide me with proof of claim of an injured party will result in a default, and I request that you dismiss this case. So that's how you can kind of go about it. But again, you make sure that you always respond, because silence is acquiescence, and that goes both ways. That's a two-way street. If you silence too, they're going to default against your ass, and they're going to be able to get rid of execution, and that's where they get payment garnishments and stuff like that. So make sure you always respond when these people try to contact you.
Hold up, but pick this out. I don't want to say one last thing, right? And hold up, you said the key word. You say injured party, right? So this is one of the things where a lot of people need to, if you have not authenticated your birth certificate on state and federal level, and you have not updated or correct your status, guess what? Anybody that you committed a crime against or has committed a crime is deceased, right, under the 14th Amendment, right? Meaning that there are corporations. Corporations can't be harmed. Corporations can't commit crimes against corporations, right? You only could commit a crime, or you only can harm a live individual, flesh and blood, man or woman. So when they say, show us a victim. Okay, if that victim in court, right, all you have to do is they say, okay, well, you slapped this person, right? And then you say, okay, so that's the victim. Okay, so I harmed a person. So you're saying, I mean, not a person, but I harmed a flesh and blood man or woman, right? I I need them to show proof that they authenticated their birth certificate or corrected their status. I need you to show me proof that they're not a 14th Amendment citizen. If it shows that they're a 14th Amendment citizen, then that means that they're a corporation. That means that you violated nothing because you can't, because they're not an injured party.
Yeah, even with that though, like I'm not even gonna cap. Like I didn't authenticate my birth certificate, and I became revenue. But like with that too, like with the birth certificate, you don't own the name. It's not your name. But again, you can have ownership. You can control it with that common law copyright.
Well, with assumed name, you take ownership. Yeah, you do assume name, you take ownership for that name. Now you can operate it illegally. I mean, you operate it legally in commerce.
A good case that helps on that.
Everybody's just using that name illegally.
Yeah. A good case is Lujan versus Defenders of Wildlife, adjudicated by the Supreme Court. Elements of standing, and there's three elements of standing adjudicated by the Supreme Court. It's 1992. Lujan versus Defenders is one, there must be an injury in fact, 2, causation, and 3, redressability. If those three aren't they're not there, there's no case. So there must be an injury. In fact,
right. Because under that, with that, you got to remember there's 2 types of due process: one with and without compensation. So you got the 5th and the 14th. As long as you claiming that 14th Amendment citizen status, you're not going to be compensated.
Yeah, that's what people want to not be 14th Amendment citizens, man. Stop voting. If you got jobs and stuff like that, tell them that you're gonna be filing exempt. File you a WA BIN 4506T. Stop paying taxes. I mean, that's where they're getting us at. They're going into our Social Security trust. They're lying to us. They're stealing from us. You guys have no idea how much money you have in your Social Security trust. Like, it's crazy. It's not a government. It's a banking system. It's a banking system. That's all it is. And once we start understanding it's a banking system, then we can start looking at it differently. Because if there's a circle, we inside the circle trying to look out. No, we need to be outside the circle to see what's inside the circle.
Let him cook.
It's just an entire banking system, man. That's all this stuff is. People thinking, oh, government, oh, courts, this and that. No, you got to understand. All of these people deal with fiat, right? So if whoever deals with fiat, then you know it's the banking system. Why you think that near every courthouse they have a Federal Reserve building? Y'all ever notice that?
Yeah, and when you do the research, you find out that the courts themselves are banks.
Yes, they are. That's what they are. That's what the definition of the court is in black law. It's a bank.
Come on, hey, come on, Morgan.
Bank,
My bad. Go ahead, Bree.
Bank, not a financial institution. So those 2 different things. A bank can be a bank and a financial institution. However, a financial institution is not a bank. It's different.
But I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. A bank. When you say a bank financial institution, I'm gonna tell you where they lie at, because they all say they're lenders. When people open up a bank account, the first thing they do, they go store their money rather than go to the bank to be lended their money, right? Your money's been lended to you from your Social Security trust. That's why they're supposed to be called lenders, right? But they defraud you because they make you think that they're a storehouse. Once people start understanding that they're not lenders, and if they are lenders, then what are you lending me? Because banks don't have money. That's the reason why they go into our Social Security trust and they take our credits and they take our money and they loan us our own money. And then they put us in a debt and we're paying the debt back with a debt. It's all illegal, and people have to wake up and start understanding. That's why you don't go put your money in the bank. You go put your money in, you go create a trust. If you open up a bank account, you need to be opening up a trust. I don't care if it's revocable, irrevocable. If you want to put your money in something, go put in an IUL or a cash value life insurance policy. If you you want to have money, go get gold and silver. Because if you guys look at bricks and stuff like that, look at what they're doing. They got a whole system that they created that's backed by gold and silver. United States, why do you think they're trying to come out with the digital dollar or the Biden dollar or whatever like that? You want to know why? Because they're trying to create money out of thin air so they can stop creating money through the mint, because they're getting caught in fraud. because people are starting to learn how to create negotiable instruments to go into the certificate trust to pay debts off. So now they want to create a digital dollar so they could be able to stop people. You try to go order a pizza or a burger, you can't order it, or you can't buy it because they didn't cut your card off or whatever like that. And then they think they slick by creating a digital currency. So when if they create digital currency, they can create how much currency they want. They can create trillions and trillions and quadrillions of dollars out of thin air. All they got to do is put on the screen 850 million trillion.
Right, and then here's a warning for all you people that are in crypto. So now what you got to realize is if the government creates their own digital currency, they're gonna make all the other digital currencies obsolete.
Mm-hmm. That's what they're trying to do, like cryptocurrency. They mad at cryptocurrency because people are able to launder money, to do whatever they need to do. You know what I'm saying, behind their back without them seeing where the money is traded at. Like you can launder money through cryptocurrency, and you ain't got to carry $100,000 through the airport no more. Oh, did y'all go to sleep on me?
Oh no, we hey, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, you know how TikTok do.
I'm trying to be, yeah.
So yeah, and then the other thing with this currency transfer is you got to look into your contracts as well, because under the forms of payment, if they change the payment on you, they change the terms of the contract. So they're gonna nullify. That means the contract will be nullified.
Put your apron on, nigga. Come on.
So yeah, the contract gonna be nullified. So y'all gotta look into that, because once that happens, if you don't challenge your contracts and you make that first payment with that digital currency, you have just accepted their terms.
Exactly.
Hey, Mo, run that back. So again, that was a gem that he just gave. We talked about that before. So like with Apple, the retail installment contract and the mortgage contract, this is why they make y'all wait the 30, 45 days to pay, because they're trying to make sure they get their lien in place. This is why the first in line, first in time. This is why y'all got to make sure y'all.
Well, you know a lien is false though, right? Because see, they trick you with the lien. Because listen, they go and they file a lien. That lien gets rejected, right? So say for instance, you go get a car from a car dealership, right? The car dealership sends it to a bank goes into your certificate trust, then they go ahead and they pull out the money, and then they give you a loan contract, and then you got to pay the interest and all that stuff like that, right? But then in those 2 weeks, they go and they file with the Department of Motor Vehicles, they go file a lien. That lien gets rejected. If you go look up UCC 11 and go do a title search or do a lien search on any of that stuff, you'll see on the UCC 11, if you got a car, you'll see there's no lien on it. But see, they filed the lien. They file a UCC 1 and try to put a lien on your car, right? And then what you don't understand is that when you get that title says, oh, the lien holder is such and such bank or such and such automotive or such and such whatever like that. Go do a lien search. You will see that there was never no lien on your car because it gets rejected. Because they already borrowed the money from your certificate trust, so they can't put a lien on anything, because banks and financial institutions can't own property. They can't own it.
To kind of go on that too, when you when you do your search, right, they really don't have a lien. Their lien is a security. It's their what is it called? The retail installment.
No. They file a lien with a UCC 1, but it gets rejected after 2 weeks to 30 days whenever the Secretary of State picks it up. But they'll file it, and then they'll put on your title when you register your car. That's the reason why you never let them register your car. You register your own stuff if you was to ever register anything, and you ask for the MCO when you buying a car. I don't care if it's used. Tell them to go find it. But when they register it, right? See. You got to understand that they're already tricks of the trade. So when you're buying a car, you're supposed to be the guarantor on the car. But they make them the guarantor. They make them the first lien holder when you're supposed to be the first lien holder, because they're pulling that money from your certificate trust. So they switching the signature. So where you are signing as on a document, you're signing as the borrower, they're signing as the lien holder, which is supposed to be different. Backwards. It's supposed to be you signing as the lien holder, and they're supposed to be signing as the borrower, because they're borrowing from your certificate trust to pay the car off. The car is free. Look at HJR 192, House of Joint Resolution, June 5th, 1933. Everything on earth is free. You don't have no debts. That's why we have a certificate trust. That's why you're able to use negotiable instruments and stuff like that. But then in those 2 weeks, like I said, they're filing the lien. And that lien is showing up on your things, and you're thinking that they have
educational purposes only, y'all. Just want to run this back.
Yeah, keep saying that. Yeah.
This is not.
But listen though, what people fail to realize when they go in these dealerships and whatnot, they are also signing power of attorneys.
Correct.
That's how they are able to file stuff with the Department of Motor Vehicles on your behalf, because you don't sign them, gave them power of attorney.
Correct.
Endorsement.
No. You signing it. You giving them the signature. You giving them the trust. When you sign, when they put your trust name, that all caps name, that's the name of the trust. And then when you sign it, right, you're giving them authorization to go into the trust. Trusteeship. And not only that, you're giving them power of attorney with a POA. But people don't know that.
Yeah. See, I mean, it's so much going on within the transaction in and of itself. Because then when you go in the dealership and they're running your credit, they're giving your social to all these different companies. Guess what? Every company they gave your social to can now tap into your trust. And every instrument that was created off of those searches are money.
But hold up. But look who they're using though, because y'all just talked about credit earlier. Who they using? They're using the data furniture. They're using Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. They're using them. And because how you think they make their money? They make their money by selling the data.
Yep.
That's where all their money come from. Trust me, I know. I got a cousin that works for Equifax. And that's what she does all day, is sell the data.
Data mining companies. Yep.
Yeah. And
why you think you're getting those pre-approval letters in the mail? Oh, you got pre-approved for a loan. You got pre-approved for this. You got pre-approved for a mortgage, the auto, or whatever. They selling your information.
You know, and they're not even credit bureaus. They're consumer reporting agencies, and you can't do consumer report consumer transactions on it.
They use that bureau. They use the name bureau to scare people, to make them think that they was part of the government.
And Lexus.
Oh yeah, LexisNexis, StateStream. It don't matter. All of them. All 9 credit bureaus. There's 9 of them. All operating illegally. And if they sharing any information, then they already violated your civil rights anyway. Or consumer rights, rather. That's why people got to understand. They got to look at the credit privacy laws. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't even understand. You do not have to use your social security number for nothing, not even for government, for anything with the government. Look at 1974 Credit Privacy Act. When that says so, okay, so if I don't have to use my social security number to obtain credit, and I don't even have to give my social security number to a government agency or a government officials per se, because they're all corporations, then what do I use? Now I can use a credit privacy number. And I'll turn and purchase. So when you guys are talking about using business credit and all this stuff like that, you got to understand they're still creating a certificate trust when you create an EIN number. So you can create your own CPN number and go obtain it, build it, do it. Trust me. Boy, I can show y'all some things, boy. Come on, somebody got to cook, man. I need a side dish somewhere.
I'm telling you, it's wild, man, because it's so much going on within these transactions and understanding the promissory note in and of itself. So when they putting that lien on your stuff, what they're doing is they're taking this promissory note and they're trading it as an unregistered security. So where it comes into in play with your contracts is the security is where the equity is located. So if you're not expressing an interest in the security, guess what? They're robbing you out of the equity in the contract. Every contract is supposed to benefit both parties.
Hold up, but answer this, because you said security, right? So that means to secure something. And then you said promissory note. Okay, so a promissory note is a promise to pay, right?
Yeah.
So when you go get a house or a car, they create a promissory note, right? Who they present that promissory note to is a promise to pay. So they go to the Treasury Department with that promissory note, because they saying that you promised to pay, right? They going into your Social Security trust with the promissory note because you're promising to pay. So, but they taking that money, they never put that, put that promissory note on public record. So they keep your money and put you in a loan and make you pay it back with interest, right?
Exactly.
That's right then and there. But it's a security. It's to secure you. So the whole point of the promissory note is for them to file it with the Secretary of State. Okay, I'm gonna go into your Social Security trust and I'm gonna pull out this $100,000 for this car. And then that car is supposed to be free because they're supposed to take that promissory note and apply it to the car. But what they do, they keep the promissory note money. They give you a loan, you paying it, and then they add interest on it. That's triple dipping. That's fraud. That's trust fraud. Nobody never catches them in trust fraud except for me or whoever else. But I know I catch them in trust fraud all the time.
Trust fraud, security fraud, insurance fraud, contract fraud.
Fraud in commerce, fraudy fraud. I mean, it's all over the place.
Yeah, it's wild, man. If y'all haven't dipped into it, I would suggest start reading the damn UCCs 1 through 9. 8 and 9 has a lot of good information when it comes to securities, and then 3 governs negotiable instruments. Dig into it, man. It's a lot of good information in there.
Learn how to create your negotiable instrument, and any of these companies, and people don't even know. You can go if somebody trying to charge you a debt for property or something private that you own. Do you know you can file a UCC 1 on and put a lien on them? You can put a lien on anything. You can put a lien on anybody. You can make anybody, just how they try to tell you that you got to pay them for something that they was already credited out of your Social Security trust. You can file a lien on them and put a lien on their building, their cars, their houses, their whatever. You use that paperwork.
Right. Because think about this. I want everybody to really take a look at these bills they sending you in the mail. They come in positive amounts. If you owed, it would be negative. If you overdraft your bank account, it'll show a negative, right?
Exactly.
Showing that you owe. These things are coming in positive amounts. Why?
Because it's already been credited.
If the United States is a corporation, then guess what? You're supposed to be a shareholder in this corporation, and these positive amounts are your revenue. Why? Because you loan these bankrupt institutions your credit, so you need a return on your investment. This is
correct. You are. You are even a shareholder in the New York Stock Exchange.
Yep.
You're a shareholder in every government agency and bank. You are a shareholder. That's the reason why they don't. That's the reason why they always want you banking on the public and not on the private. That's why I tell people, authenticate your birth certificate, correct your status. You know what I'm saying? Take all your accounts, switch all your accounts over to trust accounts and stuff like that, so you can see those private ledgers. You can't see the private ledger if you're a 14th Amendment citizen and you're banking on the public. They're not going to let you see it.
That's right. 2 sets of books. They do a double bookkeeping entries, public and private.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had an account and you still get statements? And you're like, I closed the account. Why am I still getting statements? Because it's still open on the private. They still collecting. They still putting money in it. They still doing everything. Like people don't listen. Like people don't even understand when you walk into a bank, right? You see it says FDIC insured, right? FDIC insured, right? So people don't understand there's four quarters in the banking system. When you go in there and you open up a bank account and you don't put no money in it, that's why they have free checking. This is how they trick everybody. They have free checking. When you walk into a bank, FDIC insured, they go pull $250,000 per quarter from your Social Security trust. Do you understand that you're being credited to your bank account that has $0 in it, $1 million per year? You got checking and savings, $2 million a year. That's the reason why they have FDIC insured, because they're going to go pull the money. Because in case of anything happen, you're supposed to be insured, but you're supposed to get that money up front. But they're not giving you that money up front. They're keeping it because you're banking on the public instead of banking on the private, not knowing that you got $1 million. You done had this account for 10 years and got $10 million sitting there in every bank. Just think about it. You got to check and say that's $20 million that they done pulled out of your Social Security trust. That's how much how much money you done got. And some of y'all done had bank accounts for 30, 40 years. So just think about it, and it's been FDIC insured. On your account. Sitting there, and they've been collecting and spending it because banks don't have money. How do they produce money? They don't. They take the money from our Social Security trust from us. We credit them every single dollar that they have. They recycle it. If you deposit $1,000, they go and they put that money into an IUL, and then they go and loan it out. By the time they get that $1,000 back, that $1,000 is $10,000 to $15,000 that they done made off your $1,000, or $100,000 rather. Come on, need some side dishes.
Yo, matter of fact, if you haven't picked up, let me see. Cause damn, I just ordered some books too. There's a book called Secure Transactions for the Practitioner, and that one's gonna get into how to securitize your transactions, like when you're making all these purchases and stuff. It goes into a lot in covering the articles under UCC 9. I mean, this shit will tell you how to buy a jet and register it. I mean, that's how in-depth this book is. It's crazy. I mean, we got to understand the financial power that we have because of HJR 192. I mean, in reality, you're basically unlimited. All this stuff is abandoned assets that you just got to claim. I mean, that's really what it is.
But see, the thing is, we got to get out of our simple-minded selves that everything that we buy, that we need to go to work for, whatever like that. You have a whole Security Trust that's supposed to pay for everything. That's the reason, the whole point of HJR. When United States of America went into bankruptcy, we got to understand that we have a whole bunch of money there. And buy anything that you need, even your groceries. If you collect all your receipts and stuff like that you ever had in your entire life, and you go ahead and you send that into the Treasury Department with a 1099-A, right? Because people don't understand 1099-A, acquisition or abandon. Acquisition means something bought, obtained, or gained. Send that in with a lot of people. What they do is they take their receipts and they claim it on their taxes and try to get a deductions. No, that's not how you do it. You take your receipts and send it in with a 1099-A to reclaim everything that you bought, because everything is free. Everything. I don't care if you go buy a TV from Walmart, if you got gas, if you bought a Snickers, whatever you done bought in your life, it's free. But people don't know how to reclaim it because people keep claiming, oh, I'm going to save up my receipts and I'm going to file them on my taxes. Oh, I'm going to get a business. I'm going to do this to get the deductions and blah, 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 blah. No, that's not how it goes. That's not how it works, because they have taught people not correctly. People are not doing this stuff correctly, so they don't know what to do. So we have to keep teaching everybody the correct way how to reclaim and how to get into your Social Security Trust, and understand that everything is already prepaid for. Your life is free. That's the whole point. As on a common law, universal law, under Mother Earth, if you got a mother, right, when you're born into this world, the mother makes sure that you don't have to, you get breastfed. Mother makes sure that your diaper changed, you got clothes, you got a nice bed to sleep in. She rock you to sleep, everything like that. That's why we call it Mother Earth, because when we came into this earth, we had to work for nothing. Everything is free, but they done taught us how to be slaves and how to work for everything. So now you got all people, I need to find me a better job. I need to find me a good job. I need to get me a career. I need to this and this. No, everything is already free. If people get out of that slave mindset and start understanding that everything is free, I'm trying to tell you, your whole life will change once you get out of the mind frame and you don't want to be a slave. You don't want to, pay bills and credit cards and auto loans and all that stuff. If you focus on your substance, that's why I'm rich now, and I don't have to work a day ever again, because I learned how to get into my Social Security Trust. And once you learn how to get that, you will never have to slave again, ever.
Right, because when you look into it, everything operates under trust. Look at your city and look at transportation trust. All these things, everything operates in trust. Everything. So why aren't we operating in trust?
Because we wasn't taught.
Exactly. So you're gonna have to learn it.
No. See, that's the whole thing. They gonna teach us what they want us to know. So if they teach us how to be a slave, what you think we gonna be? Like, why you think they came out with the goddamn slavery movies? I mean, Color Purple. I mean, everything from Everybody a Slaver. Look how they look. Nobody had nothing or nothing, because we've been trained to think a certain way. And once we stop thinking a certain way, and we start waking up like you brothers are doing, and myself, then we'll sit there and we'll say, damn, because you'll see how far your mind has changed once you start thinking. We don't think because we allow them to think for us, tell us what to do. I mean, they tell us, you look at TV, that's why I tell people, stop watching TV. They tell us what to eat. Every commercial is a McDonald's commercial. They tell us what Jordans to go buy. They tell us what car to go get. They tell us everything, because some of us can't think for ourselves. And then we have brothers like us that have to come and tell people, no, think for yourself. Think for yourself. Because I can give you the knowledge, but it's up to you to accept it.
Telling you, and that comes from that Rockefeller mentality. Rockefeller ideology was, I want a nation of workers, not thinkers.
Facts.
So,
And it's
you know
so
what I'm
funny
saying?
because I said that earlier before you got on.
Yeah, because that's what the schools are teaching you. They teaching you what to think, not how to.
Stand. The school system mimic the prison system, just like the churches mimic the courts. You know what I'm saying? They think they got us trained to a T. They know. Look at have you ever been out? I don't know if you guys been out of town. Go to the if you ever caught a flight. What everybody doing? Taking off their shoes. Going through the metal detector. Everybody doing the same thing. Passport. I mean, if you're going out of country with your passport and stuff, same thing. You going through security. Like they got us trained to a T.
You know.
Now, if you look at rich people, what they doing? Are rich people going through metal detectors? Are they taking off their shoes? No, they get on their private jet. That's why it's important for people to understand that you have wealth and go get that wealth so you could be wealthy, so you don't have to take off your shoes at the airport because you're poor.
You know, and think about that. They herding people through the airport like cattle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what you are. You a train. Yeah, you a chattel. You train cattle. That's what you are. Somebody said we're breaking up. Or maybe it's me. I don't know.
Yeah, nah, I think it might be them. So I hear it clear.
Yeah, me too. I hear you clear. But yeah, that's what we got to start doing. Start training each other to not be cattle or chattel, because that's all we are. And they see it and they just laughing at us. Ha 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 ha.
Telling
ha,
you.
ha. That's why I try to tell people we are the 1%. The ones that wake up is only going to be 1% of the people that wake up, because everybody else is still going to be doing stuff how they was trained, still going to get credit cards, still doing loans, still doing whatever they doing, still working, still whatever, and not waking up. Once everybody wake up and get on one accord, get on one page, you're going to see the whole change. Everybody going to live for free. They don't even want us growing fruits and vegetables. They got us going to grocery stores. Why we need to go to grocery stores? Go ahead.
It's like, if y'all want to see what's going on, I would suggest read Silent Weapons or Secret Weapons for Silent Wars. In the Rex 84 plan, King Alfred's plan. Mm-hmm. Read them 2 documents, and it'll tell you exactly what's up.
Yeah, it's a lot of information out there. The whole thing is peace. It's a piece over here, piece over here. It just wants your mind, because they got our mind so distorted. So I could tell that you've been reading and you've been putting the pieces together. Once you put the pieces together, it's over. I put the pieces together. I've been doing this stuff for over 20 years. That's why I can get into my Sister K trust. That's why I can do all the stuff that I do, because I've been piecing it together. And once I put the pieces together, I said, I got it. Once I learned the 1099A process, and then guess what? They went and changed that. So I had to learn a whole new way to 1099A, negotiable instruments, how to get the Sister K trust through your taxes, all that. I just posted a video the other day of my second time getting to my Sister K trust. Because I'm telling you, I ain't working, and then you don't even know how many times you can get into it all day long if you choose to. But they keep trying to tell people how to work and how to be a slave. And so that's one of the reasons why a lot of people going to continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And then they're going to teach their kids, their heirs, how to do the same thing. And that's what they're banking on, manipulating you for you to teach your heirs how to do whatever that they need them to do.
Yeah, man. The whole system is inverted. So they got the public operating ass backwards. Mm-hmm. And that's what they bank on. And like I said, because everything comes in a positive amount. So in regards to the aspect of so they're sending you something with a positive amount on it. Mm-hmm. You thinking you got to pay it instead of accepting it. When you know how to accept it, guess what? It's cash value in that shit.
Yeah. You could do the AV4 and all that stuff like that.
Yep.
But that's the thing. You know they're gonna try to trick you, because a lot of people don't know how to fill out their statement, with the accepted for value and all that stuff like that, with the beneficiary autograph and all that stuff like that. They don't know how to do it. So I'm gonna tell you, that's why the easiest way is to go ahead and create a negotiable instrument and send it to the Treasury and just let them pay all your bills, your debts,